Right in the heart of a silver bullet.
Yeah. I think they plotting on man. Don't wipe their feet when they enter the L.A.R. I feel a cold stare.
I'm a white guy. I'm Irish. The diaspora's business is not my business. But an African-American tourist or exchange student should not have to rehash 400 or 500 years of trauma and family disruptions for each new group of Europeans she meets. White Americans and black Americans have the opposite experience with Europeans.
Like, I'm Italian, and they're like, no, the you're not.
If I had the audacity to say to an Irish person in Ireland, I'm Irish, they would immediately be like, you're not Irish, you're American.
As a white American, it does not matter to white Europeans that I know where my grandparents or great-grandparents came from. They're told, no, you're not Irish, you're not Italian, you're American. However, when African Americans say, I'm from America.
So when they ask black Americans, where in Africa are you from? Then they try to pick at it. How do you not know?
How you don't know?
What do you mean? Where's your family from? This is me clean the fuck off. Every time I hear that argument.
They never understand why we don't know. I ain't never get that because I think I would use the back of my hand, the back of my black hand.
Slave families often were separated in the division of property in a dead planter's will, in the nightmarish internal slave trade, as the economy in the upper South stagnated, and in the deep South, the cotton economy, or more nightmarishly, in southern Louisiana, the sugar economy boomed. But even in the absence of these brutal disruptions, African-American families have had as many as 15 generations of mixing in North America. We know from Gwendolyn Midlow Hall's study of Louisiana and Daniel Littlefield's study of colonial South Carolina that enslaved Igbo women from what is now southeastern Nigeria often started families with partners from other African ethnic groups. Okay, so let's say Virginia, 1760. A woman whose mother was Igbo and whose father was Bundu from Angola starts a family with a man whose father was Mandinka from Gambia and whose mother was Igbo. Their second child, born 1763, is a daughter. She's a quarter Gambian, a quarter Angolan, and half Igbo, half Nigerian. Okay, what tribe is she from? More than that, now we're talking at least 6 generations later. You want to ask that person's great-great-great-great-grandchild what tribe she's from. That is after generations of mixing. Fulani, Asante, Wolof. You want them to name a single country that they're from. Great. They're from America.
What's good? What's good? Why Americans or black Americans are from America? Had to get a white guy to say it for you, right? Here's the thing. He said it. I've said this in a previous video. Most people who were immigrants to this country, who come from immigrant backgrounds, they eventually become American because they're not accepted as wherever they came from in their home country. And since we got to do it this way, think about all the white people you know. Think about it. The only people that got dual citizenship is Jewish people. And some of them are cool with Israel, some of them are not. You get what I'm saying? All the Russians in America, you're not Russian no more. They know that. All the people from Britain and Great Britain and what? Poland and Germany and what is it, Deutschland, whatever, wherever, it doesn't really matter. Spain, Czechoslovakia, which is not even existing anymore, if I'm not mistaken. They're not Swedish, they're not that anymore. As he talked about the Irish, and the comedians talking about it, you're not Irish no more. They know that. They're not accepted as that when they go back. This is my home country. It's like, no, you American. So for us, matter of fact, let me do this. Even Mexico is right next to the border. There are Mexicans who are not accepted as Mexican. They're here, they're from here, they go back to Mexico. You one of them. Was the word pocho? Is it pocho? I can't even say it right. But they become gringos like Americans, right? So same thing, I've seen it with Caribbean folks. You become a Yank because you've been here so long. So when people go, so when you come here, and generally that's the where you from thing, or you're really from Africa thing. And before, let me backtrack. That's Black America. That's our fault. We really did try to reach out to and connect to Africa. We did that for years. I remember we went through phases of it. I remember in the 80s, I remember, it died down from the 80s to the 90s. Kicked up a little bit in the 2000s, went down. Like it would go up and down. And but this concept of you really from Africa, there came to a point where we like, no, no, no. And people are like, yes, you are. And this is no disrespect to Africa, Africans when I say this. When y'all would say like where you really from, the thing that y'all wouldn't say is this. If I met a Nigerian, if I met a Ghanaian, if I met a Moroccan, if I met an Ethiopian, Eritrean, if I met, a Kenyan, um, Congolese, Sudanese, because I've met, sometimes we have similarities, sometimes we don't, but generally they'll be like, I know somebody that look like you. So when y'all say, oh, you really from here, y'all got to realize a Black American can talk to 5 different Africans from 5 different countries, and they're 5 different people say, yeah, you kind of, yeah, you look like us. It's like, I'm an American. You get what I'm saying? We don't even have to make that argument about everybody else who's Black is over here. They say like Jamaicans, Haitians, Trinis. So what do you call Baham? Is it Baja? I forgot how to say that. I'm sorry. Bohemians, whatever, Panamanians. Like when people tell you they're this and they're that, it's not a big deal. But the American thing, it becomes an issue. And for us, it's like, let it go. Because white America isn't where they're from anymore. That's why you just determine white. They don't, they that's the white is a banner of we came from over there. You get what I'm saying? Same thing with the Hispanic thing. It's just multiple countries. We somewhere over here. Or, maybe Spain, or Portugal. But once you get to us, we are what we are. That's it. And I know exactly because I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna go back. There are Irish people in America, right? Who will tell you that Irish people in Ireland don't like Irish people in America because they consider Irish people in America sellouts. Because because Ireland did all that fighting with Great Britain and England for these Irish people because of all the oppression that Great Britain and England put upon Ireland. They came to America to be the British. Like they fundamentally have an issue with that. Like, so let me get this right. We've been at war with these people for doing this to us, and then you went over there to do that to those Black people. And it ain't necessarily, that's not necessarily a racial thing with them. It's a character issue. You get what I'm saying? It's like, nah, we're not rocking with y'all. You know, they have Hispanics, which is a weird thing to me. Hispanics, Portuguese, who they're Hispanic in the Americas. You know what I'm saying? Caribbean, Central South America. And they believe like my homeland is Spain or Portugal. And it's like, yo, don't do that. don't. And there have been people who went back, who not even went back because they was never from there, but they went to Spain and Portugal. These are my people. And the people are like, we colonized y'all. You ain't my people. You're a colony of us. And they go, oh, like what? And then there are people who go back, you know, um, Spain, Italy, because Italians, they had that thing too. Like Italians from Italy, Italians from here is like, we ain't the same. We ain't the same. Like they'd be like, we the real Italians, y'all them over there. You get what I'm saying? So that happens with pretty much everybody. The Asians have that same issue. You know, you ain't really Chinese or Vietnamese or Japanese. You really not that. You Filipino, but yeah, you ain't really like us though. You get what I'm saying? So that's a thing. And you see that even with people who came to America as kids and they've been here longer than they've been in their home country, but they go back to their home country on a regular basis. But the older they get, sometimes they get that wall of, you're over there sending some money, or you become Americanized, you become like them. So when it comes to us, it's like we're just American, G. We're Black Americans. Not a big deal. Really not a big deal. But I interjected the other groups in it because that's an American thing. You're not going to be able to come to America and tell people you're really one of us. And it's like, nah, G, because we can't go to wherever these other countries are and go, yeah. Because you even see it with Black Americans. I'm going back to Africa. I'm going back to my roots. And they go, you American. you here, but you one of them. So I'm going to leave it at that. Tell me what you think. Catch you on the next one. Peace.